Joining us to talk about the situation in the DRC and the rest of Africa, we welcome from Paris, Marie-Roger Biloa. She's the Chief Executive Director of the Africa International Media Group. From Lagos, Nigeria, the lead partner of SBM Intelligence and former managing editor of the Daily Times of Nigeria, Cheta Nwanze. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Marie, let me start with you. The elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo took place at the end of December. We're still awaiting results. There are reports that we could have provisional results within the next 48 hours, but nothing confirmed yet. But let's go back to December 30th. What did you make of the conduct of the election?
I think everybody saw that the election was grossly ill-prepared, and part of the country did not take part in it, and it was marred with problems. But what we could also see that people, the citizens of DRC, did all their best to take part in that election, to show their will for change. And we, by all accounts, there are no official results, but I think there are hints that the people, despite all the problems, wanted change. And I think that's why we are waiting, we're still waiting, because if it was something clear that the incumbent president could incite people to vote for the man he is supporting, I think things would be faster. But it's a situation where they are just checking the power balance between the pressure they feel from inside, the citizens, the churches, the civil society, and from outside, where we see neighboring countries urging the government to publish the results which are true to the will of the people.
Cheta Nwanze, what is your view on the elections in the DRC? There are concerns that violence could break out if these results are not announced soon. Do you think these concerns are valid?
Yes, the concerns are very valid. And I would like to go back to October of last year very briefly. The Congo Research Group, now let's note that the Congo is not a country that does polls quite often, but the Congo Research Group has been doing polls every year since 2015. And in October last year, the polls that they did showed that Tshisekedi would get 36% of the overall votes, Kamere 17%, and Shadari 16%. I suspect that what is happening is a kind of repeat of what happened in Cameroon some months back, where the results, when they came in, were unfavorable, and basically the ruling party decided to create a vacuum use that vacuum to manipulate the results in their favor. I also suspect the DRC is a country that is awash with small arms. I suspect that a lot of people will not take kindly to such manipulation, and that they might decide to take matters into their own hands, as it were. We're sitting on a potential tinderbox, and I think that's the government is playing a very high wire game.
Marie-Roger, another development which must be of some concern is that internet services in the DRC have been cut. Some of the radio stations have been suspended as well. So many people have lost a vital source of information. I want you to take a listen to what some of them have been saying. Let's watch.
An independent authority representing a republic tells you, in 48 hours you will have results. They postpone it for a week. After a week, it is postponed again to 14 days. And then we are told that we are not yet sure of a time frame. At this point, we don't have any more trust.
So, Marie, why did the government decide to block the flow of information?
Okay, officially, what they said is that they don't want social media to spread false rumors about the results, ahead of the Electoral Commission. But the fact is that now it's very difficult to hide facts, because you have from all over the countries. People, if they have access to internet, they can they can diffuse and disseminate informations. And it's very difficult then to get all the information back and try to dispel them. So that happened in Cameroon during election, that happened in Gabon during election, and probably in other places. That is something which has become classical, that they cut off internet. It happened in Congo, Brazzaville too. So, but the situation, what is interesting in this situation is that the political class in DRC is not able to have one single candidate to confront with the candidate of the incumbent president. But at some point, they were able to name someone, to choose someone, and who was Martin Fayulu. And after one day, Tshisekedi and Kamere left the alliance. And we felt like, oh, this is very bad, and the government will use it and say the opposition is divided. But it didn't work that way. The population sticked to Fayulu as the opposition candidate. Fayulu is really the candidate of the people. And they know that. That's why they are not proclaiming the results. But because, believe me, if the result were in their favor, they would have done so very immediately.
Right. Cheta Nwanze, Marie there talks about Martin Fayulu. He was one of the candidates in that election. And in fact, even the Catholic Church in the DRC, which is a very powerful church, it's also very influential in the country, it says that it believes that Martin Fayulu has won that election. Cheta, I want you to take a listen to what Martin Fayulu had to say. Let's watch.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, after having taken note of the real results, deliberately refrained from making them public, in violation of its own timetable. This attitude raises various legitimate suspicions that fuel political tension throughout the country.
And of course, Cheta, there are other candidates, rival candidates, who have been claiming victory. The biggest opposition party and its leader, Felix Tshisekedi, says he won. So what is your assessment of the election, and how do you think it will turn out?
Well, first things first, the elections were not, by any standard of any stretch of the imagination, the elections were not properly conducted. The reports of voter suppression, voter intimidation were too widespread for you to really accept that the elections were credible. The Catholic Church in the DRC is very influential, and 35 million members is nothing to sniff at. And for them to come out to take a stand, that tells me that they know something. I fear that things will not go very well. Fayulu, based on the poll that I referenced in the last, when I spoke last, Fayulu was said to have 8%. Tshisekedi was the highest. Right. Shadari was not even, did not even show up. And that's a problem. If Shadari is the anointed one as far as the elite, the power elite is concerned, then they will try everything to do that they can to force him through the door. Okay. And if they do force him through the door, then people may react very adversely. All right.
Cheta, I want to stay with you and talk about another election, and that is an election that will take place in Nigeria. That's where you are right now. Elections will be held there next month. There's something like 30 different groups challenging the incumbent, Muhammadu Buhari. How do you think that's going to turn out? Do you think Buhari will be denied a second consecutive term?
The elections in Nigeria are probably going to be very keenly contested. And if they are keenly contested, there's the risk that the losing person will not accept the results, which raises the temperature. There have been moves by the ruling party to use the power of state to deny the opposition chances to campaign and all of that. And there have been defections across board. People have left the PDP to join the APC. People have left the APC to join the PDP. It's not a very tidy situation, for want of a better word.
Right. Marie, when we look at this election in Nigeria, I mean, here we have a country which is facing a a pretty grave security threat from the Islamist insurgent group Boko Haram. There are also anti-government groups operating in the Niger Delta. The International Crisis Group, in fact, said that the country is facing multiple security challenges. Can we have a free and fair election under these circumstances?
Well, you know, Nigeria is very surprising. I mean, last election was a very good one, very peaceful one, and maybe not many people expected that. When Goodluck Jonathan was beaten, you know, he accepted very graciously. He conceded defeat, and there were almost no casualty, unlike the election before, where you had 1,000 people who were killed, you know. So you never know. The problem is that you have a president, an incumbent president, who has been sick, who's been absent, who people are not even sure. You know, there were a lot of rumors that he's been cloned, this kind of things, and he had to respond to that, to give explanation. No, I'm not cloned, so which is a very weird situation for somebody. No, I'm alive, I'm here. So he spent a lot of time abroad, and people believe they have not seen much of him, and not a lot of results. So seen from outside, it's like he's not trusted to be able to deliver, because he's just too weak personally. He has a health condition, and not sure he'll be around for next term. So, and in the past 4 years, he has not accomplished a lot. I think he will enter the race with a handicap.
Okay.
But the other thing is that Atiku Abubakar is not very exciting. You know, you have on the one hand Buhari, and another one Atiku. This is not very new. This is not very engaging. Not very sexy, I would say. But so we will see what happens.